Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on Crossing in the Woods between the south. We've got Alcoholic fighting for Germany, the Oberkommando West, and for the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking. Versus in the north, we got HighFive fighting for the Soviet Union. Rolling through here for the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, trying to break through into Western Poland. 5th SS desperately trying to stall them and break the assault. And we got here with Fire, Sturm, Breakthrough, and Luftwaffe ground forces here for Alcoholic versus HighFive's Shock Rifle, Mechanized Support, and Guard Motor, Coordination Tactics. Infantry bulletins all there for HighFive. For Alcoholic it's infantry and a single Panther bulletin. Cruising the Autobahn. Double Sturm Pioneers, though that's a bit rare to see from an Oberkommando West player. The Alcoholic, I should note, is a player who actually likes assault rifle troops. If he plays the Wehrmacht, for example, he tends to go full of Panzer Grenadiers, so he's very much sort of an Sturmgewehrman. So splitting up there with the Sturm Pioneers in the early game. Kuppelwagen following up here, and he also goes here for an early Luftwaffe Ground Forces doctoral choice there. Opening up, of course, for sort of a serious thing there. That's definitely not so much meta game there, though it is slightly beginning to sort of make inroads there in terms of popularity. HighFive there on the hand is focusing very much hard on the west here with the supporting company. I start filling up there with some maxims as well for him. Kuppelwagen Sturm heading towards the centre. Looks like he's sort of trying to head centre east here. Leading the way for the fatherland, following up with some regular full grenadiers. In fact, going after the cutoff point, which probably should tell him the way that the map's set up that he's actually pushing for the western field point. In fact, he's going straight for the cutoff point. The right here, drawing the attention and the ire of the Maxim. Might not quite work out there for the Kuppelwagen. So there we go, he has to quickly break off. Sturm Pioneers falling back here a bit. Perhaps that's what's going on there now, trying to counterattack, sort of that way frustrate his opening. But the problem is right now, he's actually pulling in the Sturm Pioneers in east as well. He needs to remember to grab territory for him as well. I mean, that can be sort of one of the tricky parts here for some Oberkommandos players to remember. I mean, some do tend to, go very aggressively against their opponents, but they then in the process forget securing resources for themselves, and that tends to be one of the things that can usually undo them in the longer run if they're not careful. Fixing up the Kuppelwagen there. Sturm Pioneers occupying the house here, trying to draw as much attention, but again he has to remember, grab the fuel. Moving up the Kuppelwagen there for the car once again. We can see again aggressive harassment play there from Alcoholic and the 5th SS here versus HighFive. Now the Maxim on the way there. HighFive is going to lose control of the car point again. Very aggressive play, very aggressive and disruptive play. But again, remember the fuel point, Alcoholic. Remember the fuel. Your Panzers won't be going anywhere without the fuel. Kuppelwagen needs to be careful. Almost got the car point there. Sturm Pioneers, of course, also need to be a bit foresight there. In the south, we've got full engagement engineers, send them running. Country moving up there. If he's not careful, they're going to get into the house, then he has to retreat the Sturm Pioneers, which he'll probably have to anyways. He's grabbing the point there, but still, not the fuel. Alcoholic, mach schnell. Sturm Pioneers need to get out now. They are pretty much surrounded. Volkskriegs, they need to get moving in the south as well. Pulling towards Easter. Finally looks like he's going to grab that fuel point. Took him bloody long enough. Another Volkskriegs squad sitting out there for the base for Alcoholic. So while again he's been able to disrupt, the problem is he hasn't been able to capitalize on it because he failed to get the fuel point himself. So I mean that's one thing. Again, if you're going to try and disrupt your opponent's early game, great, but make sure you actually have an early game yourself. You actually get some resources. Otherwise, it will very much tend to fall into the all for naught department. I mean, what's the point then? So that's a little thing there to keep in mind. And you sort of again go for all of these things here, because again we saw for example previously with an episode like with Overlord where he basically went all in, then again completely forgot about it. I mean, it really threw him off there for the rest of the game. It completely destabilized him. So I mean, that's something that's very important to keep in mind. Remember to secure your own resources. Sturm hit ready, grabbing the mission support, got country moving up, they're taking fire there from the assault rifles in the west, moving towards the fuel point there. We got a Maxim up there, pretty much preventing from directly going for the fuel point. Got Maxim moving up there, we got another country squad there. In fact, we got 3 soon there for HighFive. Kuppelwagen grabbed the point here, gunning behind the Sturm Pioneers. We'll need some troops to flush them out. We got Sturm Pioneers there standing up. We got them Schwer Wehrmacht Schlepper up. There could be a battle group headquarters, could be a mechanized regiment there for Alcoholic. And the 5th SS, Panzer Division Viking. Initially, the unit where sort of a lot of these Scandinavian volunteers went to. Danes, Norwegians, Finns, and a very few numbers Swedes. Overall, not a lot of Swedes ever joined the Waffen SS. We're talking like at most maybe a platoon's worth, and even then less. No fun fact there. Country there being surrounded though. Mechanized Dragon here, so we could expect here aggressive looks play from Alcoholic against HighFive. That could certainly give HighFive some problems there. Go Maxim Pro for the Sturm Pioneers, should be able to suppress them. ensuring that the conscripts there do not get wiped out by Alcoholic. Eastern victory point then was caught by the Kugelwagen. Moving towards the centre here. And HighFive's men sort of boldly moving across the river there to attack the Germans. In the west, slow movements as well. To make a nice range and almost done. He secured the fuel point though for at least a bit longer, so he can actually get out that Lux again. If he'd had it secured faster, he probably could have had Lux out a bit faster.
Command has been set. The static post is now in operation.
Go and attempt flanking here. Ooh, might work out here. They need to get the Kugelwagen in from the north, and I think should really make it fully work there against HighFive. Got a fuel cache up very early, and no way it's setting up by the way. It's setting up in the cuff point to ensure that Alcoholic cannot harass him there. That's actually a very good move there from HighFive. He basically sort of realizes in part what Alcoholic is going to try and be doing here against HighFive, and basically sets up a safeguard that of course also serves as extra fuel for him, ensuring he can also maintain a fuel advantage or even fuel parity if necessary with Alcoholic. Very sharp move there by HighFive, a very sharp move. Lots of foresight there. Can soon go there for the Lux Alcoholic. He's all got a bit of manpower floating about there. He could consider an ND34 to help contain some of HighFive's infantry. I think they would do Alcoholic quite well. Right now, HighFive's managed to get most of the map. So again, while he did go for an aggressive harassment movement opening there, Alcoholic, he wasn't quite able to really play it off in the end. But there you go, looks available, he should go for it right now, and again he should follow up with some other unit support. Again, I do think an MD34 here would do Alcoholic quite a bit of good there versus HighFive, but again, so far, none of the two are happening. No Lux, no MD34, no nothing. There we go, Lux Aufklärungspanzer on the way there for the 5th SS. Later, by the way, the Scandinavian volunteers will, for the most part, though, shifted over to the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland. Not all of them, there would still be some remaining in the Viking, for example. But they weren't quite as many as they were to before they were shifted over to the Panzergrenadier Division. Little fun fact there. Conscripts Max Engineers moving about, that looks almost done. They're being hunted down by the aggressive Kugelwagen play. We got here the Lux out for Alcoholic. Doing some damage there to the Maxim. Lux sending out. Kugelwagen needs to go. We got Conscripts Maxim moving ahead there. And he's still flying a lot of manpower. I mean, he might be setting up here for the Fallschirmjäger, which of course would be quite effective here versus HighFive as well, if we can set up correctly. Attack and do some damage. Kugelwagen going for the fuel point. They're trying to ration further, but of course, we now get the problem that the eastern flank is completely open and exposed, allowing HighFive to sneak troops in there to harass. Good move there by HighFive, by the way. Good move. Sharp move. At the same time, HighFive here taking up there with the Tank Battalion Command going up, opening up that sleep for T-70 light tank, so that way strike fear into the hearts of Alcoholic and his men. Fallschirmjäger here going for the cop one again, but honestly, you'd better off actually pop them from at least that way he could have sort of dealt with the engineers rapidly, preventing them from grabbing his fuel point. Looks moving towards supposed to deal with the Maxim now, which is covering the fuel point there, but can't quite see. So in that regard, I mean, he's not really achieving much. I mean, the harassment here isn't actually achieving anything except, you know, cutting off from there when he could have been defending it. So right there, it's a bit of a curious decision-making process there from Alcoholic. Could have done that, I think, a lot more sharply. Points here, they're being grabbed. Overall, he can consider laying down some mines himself. I mean, he's got a lot of ammunition, but so far it's HighFive who's doing all the mining. Of course, thumbs up to that. There we go. Even a demo charge there, wiping out a full Scandinavian squad. That was definitely quite a payoff there for HighFive, and certainly quite a loss to Alcoholic. He's going to need some replacement troops for that. And again, an MD34 will be nice. There we go. We got mines down. And finally, endlich. Troops standing about there. HighFive seems to be a bit of sort of stalled here a bit mentally. Just doesn't quite seem to, at least he's figuring out his next move there, perhaps. Oh, we got all of a sudden things moving again here for him, whereas Alcoholic's just busy seeing as much as he can from HighFive, and the third guard's mechanized. We got there, got the T-70 away for him. I mean, Alcoholic at this point could go for a Puma if he sort of wants it to support the Lux and also help deal with light armor like the T-70. Though I would say again his movement towards there was a bit lax. He's getting mines, which was good. He could also consider Panzerix, you know, in the second spot. And there again, he's being engaged here with the Kugelwagen and the Lux Aufklärungspanzer. It's 20 centimeter autocannon raking into them. No, by the way, this was not the only light reconnaissance tank they had, by the way, with the 2 centimeter gun. There was also one based on the Czechoslovakian Panzer 38T. the T stand for Czechoslovakia, in German, by the way. But which largely looked like this one, except the troubles were more like the ones in the 222. In the west, the Volks have been pushed back with the maximum. You can see a big push here from HighFive across two sort of major avenues of the map. Fighter makes need to retreat there soon enough. We've got the T-70 out there for HighFive and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. We've got to come to the under fire from the looks. We need to get the Kuban. Oh, there we go, retreat. Fighter makes need to retreat. Don't waste them. Puma rhyming there with his 50mm gun in the west here, maximum grabbing territory. And he's going for the fuel point again while he's grabbing the eastern fuel point. Cleared out the mines there, by the way. Gute Arbeit. Sturmpanzer is doing nothing. Could lay down mines. Could go for the Panzerschreck. But he could also still lay down mines. What he can do to frustrate HighFive's attempts at getting back onto the map would be good there for Alcoholic. In that regard, MG-34s would be good. With the arrival there of the T-70, could consider sneaking in a single Kedner for there to sort of further assist. But he's got Panzerschrecks, he's got Puma. That should certainly help versus the T-70 light tank. Also note, by the way, it was only the version here with the 50mm gun that was known as the Puma, by the way, of the armoured cars. I mean, a lot of people just call every version of it the Puma, but it was only the one with the 50mm gun. And that one was actually not continued for too long before it was basically replaced. The sort of reason it seems to be, they just sort of figured the 50mm gun made the crews too courageous, too brave, you know, not doing their work as reconnaissance. So they basically sort of shifted away from that towards either sort of more of a assault gun sort of platform with a 75mm cannon or 40mm or 75mm pack, 40, or just the 2cm gun like on the looks, by the way. Need to retreat here though, bit of an awkward setup there. Need to retreat versus troops here. Taking off fire from the T-70. We've got a field gun there supporting HighFive's frontline troops. Ooh, Artillery fire, they need to retreat. Careful, there we go. All need to pull back with the Fultz Grenadiers. Puma needs to pull back for repairs. Can't afford losing that one at the moment, since that will pretty much be most of his effective anti-tank there versus the T-70. Gone. Instead he's sending the Puma westwards. Head on. Bit risky there. Remember, it's not a tank. North here, fighter was catching some car. Oh, retreat! What are you doing, Alcoholic? Oh, why did you do that? You just send them in, the low on health. Across negative cover. Why would you do that, Alcoholic? Towards the rest of the field gun, clearing it out there with a few good hits, but need to be careful there. Also, low on health could easily be wiped out there if he's not careful. Country retreating. Light vehicles here with a damaged engine, unsupported in the west. Careful, Alcoholic here, troops reinforcing. Another Sturmpanzer squad on the way there for Alcoholic. They should, I think, also consider replacement Fighter Megas, and he just needs to get those Fultz Grenadiers away there. Again, low on health. Low on health. He really needs to be careful how he uses his units. They does seem to, at least initially, have made some rather questionable choices at times. We've got field kits down there. Allows his men to heal, ensuring he doesn't have to build the Bell Group headquarters. Allowing him more resources for, say, lighter vehicles, of course, to take up for the Schwerpanzer quarters faster, since that overall it's quite a bit of fuel there if he wants to actually get medics out there. Mines down there. Overall, we can see a lot of mines being made down there by HighFive. That is overall good, consistent work. Troops in reinforcing back at the base there for HighFive. Puma setting out. Sturmpanzer is good to go. Sturmpionier. He cancels the squad there. Might be planning Fallschirmjägers again. We'll have to see. Still think at least one MD-34 doing a bit of good there versus HighFive and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. Grabbing points to the centre. We've got Bartwire down there. I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. He might almost, let's say, just prepared off just laying down mount. In this case, he might be, no, I was previously about to might be trying to wire off the crater, but he isn't. More fighter makers ramming hits in this case support the Puma, which he for some reason rushed very far ahead right into infantry. He needs to be careful with that right there. Remember, it's a Puma, it has range. Use the range. Or did you retreat the fighter makers? That house is about to collapse. Good lord, he's really pushing his light there. And the East Sturmpanzers could be counterattacking here to deal with engineers rapidly, but he's obviously a bit more preoccupied with what's in the west. We get a maximum there covering the fuel point again and again. Can't see what's going on there. So, I mean, HighFive might want to remember, you know, he can't see that far. In this case, he might actually get accidentally spotted here with the looks and dealt with rapidly. In negative cover, which is definitely not where what to be dealt with at all. Push up these tier. Need to get back his eastern fuel point as well. We can get more fuel out the faster. I mean, Alcohol can also more quickly bring out, say, Orbital Darden, a Panther 4, maybe some Panthers. Sort of fight HighFive. That would be really good for him. There you go. Defended the eastern fuel point. Still managed to be grabbed there. Again, he could have done so a bit faster there. Mines being laid down there. Good spot. Very good spot on there. Go did try and basically sort of wire off here so they can't move through there easily. And need to have the Puma fixed up again. Remember, don't rush it in first. It's a Puma, not a King Tiger. Use its range. There you go, Puma being fixed up. Mines being laid down there, good spot. And another Falchimega squad here for Alcoholic, more elite. Falchimega mine goes off, the killing a single conscript, Petrov. Blown to bits. No, they got Petrov. Why are we sad? He had all the vodka. No, Petrov. No, he was like a brother to me. No, not Petrov. Luke setting out there, Puma following up. Troops standing about there. And the West Folks are sneaking up. And there you go. Luke's engaging head on. Auto cannon firing. We got a full retreat here for HighFive. He's having none of that. His men quickly break as fast as they to not make the Commissar too suspicious of it. Folks guns then need to retreat. Field gun burning up horribly.
Target vehicle marking available.
Cooper wagon doing nothing. Falchimega's more or less good to go. And we got more mines. I mean, it's a good spot. I mean, if one mine goes off, you can usually expect another one to go off there. So, sensible thinking there by Alcoholic. You should go for spare planted quarters now. That you should get up as soon as possible. That way you can get out some armor as soon as possible. I mean, the faster you get out the Panthers, the better for Alcoholic and the better for Germany. As for HighFive, he has already taken the hub. So again, good display there, foresight and strategy there by HighFive, setting up the armor there in time. And again, thanks to the fuel cache, even with all the constant harassment from Alcoholic and the actually Charlotte fuel control, he's not going to fall too far behind. Again, that's also one of the reasons you might consider going for fuel caches. That way you don't fall too far behind, even if things go slightly pear-shaped. But again, he doesn't quite seem to defend his part. But again, in this case, because he's launching a bigger assault, we'll of course have to see if he can actually pull it off, though. And you see push back. He's supporting with infantry. Minesweepers, ensuring he doesn't run into any problems, getting his vehicle disabled out in the open. So far, so good there for Alcoholic. He can consider mixing in there valiant assault to get a bit of an extra boost. We got a field gun arriving from the north. Max and they're getting slowly shot to bits. Fighting makes up support. Need to fall back here with the looks a bit. T7 engaging. Needs to get the Puma within support range. You get the Sturm Pioneers within support range. Maybe within the shed, so they aren't so vulnerable. Not moving up the Puma there. Sturm Pioneers moving up there. Fine, the Panzer Strike. Field guns moving up. Could maybe cleared out there with some support weapons, but of course still got the Max and there's a problem. Looks need to fall back. Puma almost got the T70 field gun barrage here against the Sturm Pioneers and the Falchmegers. Sturm Pioneers retreating. A lot of infantry still doing about. They could actually just move up here and then flank behind the Max and possibly even wiping it. And then his Falchmegers could have just marched to the field gun dealing with that. Smoke popped here by the Puma, covering up here the advance there further. He could also just pop smoke in front with the Puma first and just march the infantry through there. Grenade off against the Maxim there. Ooh, could you up there? Engineers going for the carve point. Troops moving back for repairs, reinforcements. Still no tech up there for Alcoholic. Mach schnell mit die Panzers. Grab the Maxim. There we go, going for with the Falchmegers for it. Need to otherwise hit retreat there. And this is where having the Puma up there would have probably done a lot of good, because that way he could have knocked out the fuel cache and then actually gone for the carve point, and that would have been quite a victory there for Alcoholics. In this case, what his attack basically lacked was overall coordination and speed. He was too focused on just one unit rather than trying to coordinate as many units, a bit more roughly, but overall that way better. That way overall conducting a bigger, more efficient assault. Had he done that, he probably could have overwhelmed HighFive there much more efficiently and faster. But again, instead, there was sort of Barcelona, we will handle this one. You hit a lot well, but then again, the rest weren't doing anything, which basically achieves bugger all. Once more, HighFive's Luke's retreat reflex sets up. There we go, crashing the butt. White allow the Falchmegers to retreat. Sharp move there by Alcoholic. And there you go, Kuhlwagen harassing the western fuel point again. Still no tech up. Come on, Alcoholic, you got so much fuel. Manpower, use it. Tech, schnell. Mine goes off. They're killing several conscripts. That actually is decently pulled off there, actually. But still, tech. Alcoholic, tech. There we go. I mean, really, that's a lot of lost minutes again, where you probably could even then a gun, a Panther 4 pretty fast. That way, pressure HighFive, or maybe even a Panther. Well, probably not a Panther, but a Panther 4 there could certainly have been faster out, I think, there, versus HighFive. And that should not be something that should be neglected in terms of impact. Field gun there, they're almost getting the Kugelwagen. Need to be careful there. And there you go, kaput. 76.2 mm of shell impacting upon the Kubelwagen, and the Kubelwagen blows apart like a hot dog stand hit by a truck full of hot dogs. Schwer Panther coursing up here to cover this cough point. Of course, the funny thing, he's been moving harassed, but at the same time, it makes sense because it's not quite close to the front line, so it doesn't just immediately get wrecked. Guardsman arriving here for HighFive's gone for Guard Motor. Elizabeth's engineers constantly moving in. T-70 supporting the advance here. Also, and the rest of the men need to retreat schnell. We got the Fallschirmjäger Maxim setting up there. But actually no line of sight, so they can target. Bit of a repeat there of HighFive's Maxim adventures in the west. Schwer Panther Golden's on. Again, he wouldn't be able to get up past Panther, but a faster Panther 4 there, I think, could have had an impact there for Alcoholic. And again, we're talking probably at least, roughly a minute faster out at the very least. And, that can impact because, again, HighFive can actually go for the T-35 because, again, this here little thing, again, ensure he didn't fall too far behind. Plus, reasonably effective harassment from HighFive against Alcoholic as well, ensuring that whatever fuel domination Alcoholic had didn't last forever. But there goes Schwer Panther to quarter reveals itself and begins staying into the Russians. In the east, again, harassment here. Fallschirmjägers moving up. Need to be careful here, though, as they advance and they need support. Sturmpanzer is laying down mines, so they might want to support the Fallschirmjägers instead. Of course, he could hope to bait the Guardsman into the mine there. And there you go, he might be hoping to do it with a grenade. He didn't take the right path there for him to hope. Need to get the Lux in there to support. Maybe the Puma to just draw fire. Sturmpanzer going for the carve point. Again, the problem is, the carve point is a nice idea in theory. The problem is, it's not really that necessary because, again, he's not getting a lot of resources here. If he wants to go for a carve point, he needs to hit this one, which requires getting rid of the fuel cache. Right there, it seems like he's just doing it because, it's a carve point, but the problem is, in terms of actual value, it doesn't really have any. Need to pull back the Puma there. Careful, Alcoholic. He's probably managing a bit too much here. Panther on the way there for Alcoholic. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Panzer. That should have an impact there on HighFive. He handles it correctly. Also turn around the Lux. There's at least a better chance of maybe bouncing some of the shots with the Guardsman. But either way, eventually 2 there has to pull back. Fallschirmjägers, everybody else back at base reinforcing. Maybe get some heal kits there. Needs to get the other Fallschirmjägers. He's still moving them westwards there on their own. That's definitely not having the impact that you hoped for. Panther halfway down there for Alcoholic. And the 5th SS. Guards with their grabbing points. Wiped a field gun there. That is definitely pretty good. They can't recruit it, though grabbing it, I think would be pretty helpful there for Alcoholic versus all of HighFive's armor. Mine hit there. Conscripts suffering a slight loss. Piotr blown to bits. There we go. Panther up. Panzerkampfwagen 5. The Panzers have arrived to save the day. Pintelmount machine on the way there for Alcoholic. It's Panther. And he's sending it westwards. On its own. No reconnaissance. No infantry. No vehicles at all. Right into a mine. Right. I'm starting to think I might need to make a Propagandacast layer series sort of just covering panzers, because right now, that was pretty abysmal. Right there, once he hit the mine, he just began pulling out. And again, where was the supporting units, Alcoholic? In this case, the T-34 is getting off some lucky hits, but really, why did you send in your most expensive unit right off the bat into enemy territory against an opponent uses mines with no support? I was just... Why, Alcoholic? Why? What had the Panther ever done to you? What had the crew ever done to you? They were good Germans. Possibly. Could have been Austrians. By the way, though, Panther gone there in a matter of less than a minute. Tactically, that did not make any sense. Why would he send his Panther again into hostile territory and no support? You don't send in a tank unsupported, not as the Germans. They aren't T-34s you can just sort of throw away and get another one a few seconds later. That made no sense there for Alcoholic, and he should be ashamed of himself a bit there. I'm not entirely... I don't even know what he was hoping to achieve with that move. He does seem to handle his vehicles a bit awkwardly, a bit like with the Puma just rushing in first instead of, using his range similarly, just sending in the Panther like that. Anyways, damage-wise, lead here to HighFive again. All the damage he's done to, you know, Alcoholic Speeders, of course, meant he's suffered a lot more damage that way. So, of course, it's a bit, you know, inflated, if you will. Comparatively, the Alcoholic's been getting a lot more killing done. So, that guy is not falling too far behind. Army value-wise, pretty close to that. But, again, he's been doing some damage. He got the T-35, which then also suffered a bit of a drop there. But, again, the problem was, again, he went for the Panther, and that thing just... boom. I mean, that really isn't good. And particularly when you consider, again, the resource float he had going for it. And then again, he just completely flatlined. Points held, more control there for Alcoholic. Good, though again, we can see HighFive is returning. Again, the loss of that Panther will probably have the impact. In particular, because thanks to fuel cache, in fact, we got a second one there for HighFive. Thumbs up for that, ensuring he can just bring up more tanks even faster. Plus, he's currently controlling both fuel points. Alcoholic hasn't got none there, and he can't build fuel caches. So really needs to right now stop scattering all over the place and, you know, focus on one of the fuel points. You know, defend it, secure it, that is, defend it, and then push towards the opponent. Right now, he's basically ensuring that HighFive can just begin swarming him with his tanks. In particular, because he just threw away that Panther. I mean, he's a pretty good player, but just that Panther play, that is not good. Not good. And again, we've seen other players even higher ranked this just occasionally have to just throw away their tanks like that. So it's never fun to see, you know, when they just sort of decide to do that. But anyways, bad move then. Again, focus, grab a fuel point, hold down, and, you know, try to get out some more armor. In this case, he might be forced out to go for the Yak Panzer, simply just have some more serious firepower versus the enemy, or have to go for some like Kedden Efforts. An MD-34 would still, I think, be a good choice versus some of HighFive's infantry. As for HighFive, lay down more mines and others keep up the job there, I think. Overall, strategically, he's got overall a very good prognosis. He's got most of the fuel there now. He can just push out a lot of tanks as long as he doesn't do anything too silly, like just charging straight into all of the guns and, you know, not try to flank at all. I mean, he should do pretty well there, I think, versus Alcoholic. Again, Alcoholic needs to sharpen up, and he needs to, you know, not throw away his Panthers if he gets any more. Going there for the eastern point. Luke's moving up here again, pretty aggressive. Again, I mean, he just lost the Panther essentially to a mine there, and he just keeps sending in his tanks to completely willy-nilly with no idea if there's any mines from HighFive there. I'm not sure if he's got balls or if he's just reckless. Maybe a bit of both. Field gun opening up and the looks. Misses quite spectacularly. Puma good to go. It is Veterancy 2. And there we go, Veteran the 3 on the Fox gun with the assault rifles. Comes to the taking amount of losses. Sergei and Vladimir stumbling over, and there you go, the entire unit wiped. Small victory for Alcoholic and the 5th SS. Sturmpanzer is getting suppressed by the Maxim. Need to retreat. If against a heavy cover, then that's not going to be a necessarily very good long-term plan. T-70 acting as a spotter there for the mortar we've seen here. HighFive calling up, and there you go, wipes the Sturm Pioneers. I mean, it was basically a freshly arrived unit, but still, low health Sturm Pioneers in a situation like that should not be hanging about. Replacements there for Alcoholic plus a Kedden effort. Grabbing the fuel point, grabbing other points. Good work there. Stabilizing after, again, a rather spectacularly awkward choice. You also need to salvage the T-35 there for some extra fuel. I mean, however fast you get close to the next piece of armor, I think it's going to be very important there for Alcoholic. Some orbital guidance to get some more ranged anti-infantry firepower would also be a good choice. Falchi Makers almost wiped in the center. Maxim with Falchi Makers there, holding up the engineers, and he needs a bit of movement there. We got one guard squad up here. Mines going off there, explosions. HighFive can soon go for the T-35. Comes down to 5. We got the Fallschirmjäger also getting the conscript there with AT-42s. Or Fallschirmjägergewehr 42. Fallschirmjäger was overwhelmed here by raw conscript power. Forced retreat there. Back here, healing, reinforcement going on. He's got a lot of medical kits down there in his base. And we got the conscript down to 5 from the looks like he's just going to fall back, realising this fight is lost for now. Except he's sending in one Sturm Pioneer squad completely on its own then. Oh dear, careful of that piecemeal approach. Alcoholic is a very, very dangerous approach. In these we've got folks because there's a Guardsman, but they break off the assault. I mean, what he would consider is actually just going back, taking up the path, getting behind all these sort of big pieces of lumber, and then sneaking up with an incendiary grenade. That way of clearing out. Of course, could also go that way, but that way would expose them to less fire in the longer term. There you go, Guardsman pushed out. We've got a T-70 with the ramming here. DP light machine gun there drop. We got the Puma. Oh, looks moving up. Not Puma, but the looks Aufklärungspanzer. So right now we can see that Alcoholic is very much in the defense again. We can also see that, you know, HighFive is preparing for the defense again. He realizes while he's got most of the map at the moment, he needs to defend it. So right there, he's doing a good thing. A lot of soap players tend to neglect, which again is when they have most of the map, mine it. Because there's nothing that ruins German players dying more than losing units to mines. Puma not really doing much there. Another Academy for Alcoholic, and we got the T-3045 there on the way for HighFive. Going there for the Eastern Fuel Point. Could grab a DP light machine gun there. T-70 halfway to Veteran 3. And Glory.
Our enemy has only 200 points.
Splitting up forces towards the west, not really reinforcing these, despite again that's where he's actually trying to grab fuel. Need to focus a bit more on that, and there we go. Another T-3045 out there. For those wondering, the drums down the back are basically fuel drums for extended range. Usually they'd be empty by the time, well, they were supposed to be empty by the time they sort of hit the front line. It was just sort of allowed them to have bigger range, essentially. And they could also, I think, be easily detached, but otherwise it wouldn't have mattered. So a little fun fact there. Little fun fact. Not that it necessarily would always have mattered. T-34s, even the T-3045s, were quite prone to breaking down. Is in the far from the looks, jump arms moving up. Field gun there spotted, we've got the T-35 moving in, then need to get the Puma with that support, but the Puma is in the east. Nope, it's still back at the base. Maximum dealing with some troops there with the far to make a support. Need to get the fuel point there. Don't forget that Alcoholic. T-35 down the far from the Kedner for Puma is still not moving. 8 wheels of not moving. He needs to held back by the Maximum and quickly and violently pushed back there by heavy machine gun fire there. T-70 hanging back, Maxim standing about there. Both players sort of going almost into trench warfare, and there you go. Finally got the Puma moving there for Alcoholic. He could, by the way, consider some trenches in there. Fighter makers on the fire there from the T-70. Light tank quickly killing poor Otto. Ken Meffer moving in. Back here, troops healing reinforcing. Again, Luke's being fixed up. Looks like he's aiming for another Panther. Again, versus T-35, so the Panther will certainly, be a good choice as long as he doesn't repeat the exact same bloody mistake as last time. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what he gets if he gets it killed within 60 seconds. Looks like he's making a push up the car point. Needs support probably with a Puma though. I think he made some good shots there. The T-70, which could maybe allow him to get it. Bomb grenade then actually pretty good. Field guns are there. They're slightly moving. Going up to the base. We got a bomb grenade on the mortar. Muscati. You should think try and knock out here the fuel cache quickly. Alcoholic quickly target it down. In the east we got a Kednef there. We got Falchmakers thing with the guardsman there with conscript there with the DP light machine gun. No fire on the. Oh, got the Maxim there. Could try and grab it. Almost got the heavy mortar, but still open up on them. Fuel cache. Fuel cache. Alcoholic. Schnell. Schnell. Field gun setting up the game to bombard. John Pan is wiped there with a single high explosive shell. Pop smoke. They almost got it. Treat the fudge mix. He's going to lose them. Alcoholic. Ah, scheiße. Not again. Alcoholic needs to work on his unit preservation. He tends to make some slightly awkward choices from time to time, which are definitely not helping him out there. T-35 moving in there with its 85mm gun, opening up the fudge makers. Need to be very careful. Bomb grenade against the guards. In this case, though, HighFive neatly dodges it. No need for any fancy bullet tunnel like that. Just walk away. This was pretty much well telegraphed there by Alcoholic. Need to retreat the Sturm Pioneers there. Quickly, Schnell, 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 Schnell. And his unit preservation is a bit lacking there. Panther on the way there for Alcoholic. Second Panther. Hopefully this one will survive a bit better than the first one. Because it's an absolute waste of resources again to go for a Panther, then completely fail to preserve it. Because again, had that first Panther survived, I think this fight could have looked a lot different. I mean, again, it might have at this point hit Veteran 2, Veteran 3, and then getting another Panther could very well seal the fate here for HighFive. But instead, he's only now getting another Panther, and the other Panther to support it. So, I mean, there's a bit of a world of a difference there going on. And we got another T-35 on the way for HighFive because he's still got the fuel advantage thanks to the fuel caches. Again, in fact, he's got parity despite Alcoholic in sense actually got more of the map than HighFive. So again, that does highlight some very, I think, integral points there to being a good idea having some fuel caches.
T-34 ready for combat.
I imagine here that he's quite pleased he went for them. So there you go. Second Panther out there for Alcoholic. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Ausführung A, since that was with the... Well, this is basically the model here. And the more common model, which was sort of mid-1944 to sort of late, well, 45, was the Model G, but which actually had some notable visual differences. The mantle on the Panther, so there was Model G was slanted slightly further downwards, actually, so ensure shots didn't get deflected into the top of the Panther's hull. Also had no driver's slit hatch there on the front to basically further strengthen and remove any weak spots for shots to penetrate. Plus the exhaust pipes in the rear were a bit different there. But a part of me wishes when they activate the Oberkommando West and update the Panzer IV model, they would have done the same with the Panther model. That would have been quite kind of nice, getting a Model G instead. In fact, I'm pretty sure they even used the Model A there in Companies 1. Units that are being suppressed by maximum fire. I mean, it's got 2 maxims now, which means it's got more maxims than HighFive. 5 is moving up there, eventually 2 could pop up a bomb grenade. There we've got the T-70 sneaking up, looks supporting here. Need to pull back though. Puma taking a few hits there. Knees, Panther moving about. This time though, he's not rushing in there heedlessly, blindly, and foolishly. Though he needs to be careful still with the looks. You should also, I think, consider Pentagon machine gun there on the Panther. Again, careful what you're doing, Alcoholic. Again, not sure why he's trying to get up so close there. Remember, the Panther, like the Puma, has a lot of range. While it also has a lot more armor and health, the armor is mostly effective at range. It's where it's most effective, specifically. I mean, most armor basically sort of works on a principal drop-off. The closer you get to the target, the more penetration base increases, and thusly the less effective armor becomes. Whereas the further away you are, penetration drops, thusly armor becomes more effective. And the Panther has a lot of range, plasma armor, which basically means you want to use it at range as most as possible. You do not want to get up all close and ugly unless you want to murder some infantry. And even then you want to be careful about it. I mean, basically up close is for murdering infantry with machine guns. At range, you're fighting tanks. Oh, what are you doing, Alcoholic? Don't! Haven't you learned anything? I mean, again, had he just worked with some infantry, again, he probably could have spotted those T-35s at a better time and then got up some good hits. This time he seems to be displaying a bit better preservation. Quickly pull it back there to a safer position. Another shot there, another hit. Maximum dealing with engineers. Don't turn away the rear, away from the enemy. Rule of thumb, always keep the front towards your enemy. Always the front. That's in fact something specifically instructed to the commanders of a Panther, because that's the strongest point in the Panther, and you always keep the front towards there. That way it's more likely to actually survive. Still no mine clears. Alcoholic, don't you learn anything? I mean, he's got some support for it now, but the problem is he's still... Again, no, he's rushing it right up close there for no reason. I mean, it's basically like that scene in Fury where the Tiger crew, for some reason, gets up close with the Sherman tanks, despite it actually would have wanted to engage at max range, where its armor would have been more effective. And just could have shot the Shermans a bit from range, because again, it doesn't matter which range it shoots them at. Same with the Panther against the T-35. Doesn't matter what range you're at. You will penetrate pretty much all the time, whereas with the T-35s, the farther away you are, the less chance they have of penetrating your armor. So I mean, right there, Alcoholic might have in fact been the guy who gave the instructions there, which is really good. I mean, when I can compare your armor handling to the Germans from Fury, you're usually doing something wrong. I mean, he's using Panzerfaust, I guess. Actually, I don't think we've seen a single Panzerfaust being utilised. Actually, I think there's been one. Anyways. Fudge makes a ping there to infiltrate. Trying to go there for the fuel cache, but taking fire from the T-70. Panther being fixed up. Good work there for Alcoholic. Need to pull back his Puma as well for a few repairs. House collapses, he might lose the steel punish because again he rather exposed to a lot of fire. Again, he needs to work on his unit preservation. He's making a lot of unnecessary risks. And they got another unit wiped there because they didn't just retreat them in time. Fixing up the Panther. They need to throw on the Pinlock machine gun there for a bit of assistance. And he's actually pretty close to the second Panther now. That's good. If he can get 2 Panthers, you should have a very good chance there of really doing some damage with HighFive, because HighFive currently hasn't been too aggressive either. It's actually been a bit on the defensive. So right now, unless he actually pushes for something there, 2 Panthers could be very difficult for HighFive to deal with. It could be very difficult, particularly then Alcoholic does do something, you know, completely dumb. I mean, right now he's just a bit of fuel and manpower. We can get us out a second Panther and 2 Panthers. Will actually be quite a force to be reckoned with there, and thusly should give HighFive quite a headache if well handled. Harassing the eastern fuel point there, good. HighFive not exactly trying to flank through here and then sort of sneak up behind Alcoholic, but no sign of that. Got the Maxim being sent on his own towards the west and getting the guards from there. Jurgen quickly drops down and opens up a lot of bullets. They're going in the general direction there of the guards. I believe it's about 600 or 500 rounds per minute on the Maxim. That might actually slightly depend there. Can't remember. The thing is, the detail to remember there was actually from a World War I article where it sort of compared the German and the Russian Maxim, and that one is pretty much the World War I Russian Maxim there. And I think the German one had more range, whereas the Russian one had higher rate of fire. And what is he doing there? He's sending in the Panther with mineral support again, straight into mine. Oh, hi, Alcoholic. And again, no. What does he do? He tries to get as close as possible with his Panther. I mean, do we really need to make another Propagandacast slay on the Panther here? I mean, that makes no sense. He's trying to get the T-70, which I suppose is a good idea because you know it's going to get knocked out anyways. But, you know, he shouldn't have been in that situation with the Panther in the first place. He is mishandling those Panthers. You'd better off than going for Panzer IVs, because at least those, that kind of makes sense. At least it's cheaper. That is some deplorable Panther usage. I mean, a player of that ranking should not be just mishandling Panthers that badly. Third Panther on the way again. Why wouldn't he just wait a bit then? He could have had the Panther out there, work them together, in which case that might at least have a slight chance of going better, but instead he then throws it away and then of course goes for the third one. I mean, again, he never builds up any sort of sizable armoured force, which again would have been quite a threat. Guys, they're getting for a good fragmentation grenade there against the Maxim and almost wipes it, but not quite. Folks are hunting down the field gun, might get it there. Looks in with country in the centre, virtually 3 gained. That should help a bit in the longer run. Puma standing about, they need to pull back for repairs. Fighters needs to get moving. Third Panther almost done there for Alcoholic, and the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking. Loads of Ken members there, bandit in the centre, needs to get them back down under his control. Need to retreat the Volkswagen squad there quickly. Schnell. Need to get them actually off the fuel point, I guess. And there you go, 3rd Panther.
Vehicles can be marked and targeted.
Katyusha on the way there for HighFive to help deal with, well, infantry and support targets. Pinlock machine on the way for the 3rd Panther. Let us hope this one performs a bit better than the first or third and second. Salvaging the other Kerneffer. Luke's being fixed up. Russian troops bringing them engaged here. It's not like Alcoholic is doing poorly as such. It's just his Panther handling is utterly abysmal. I mean, really, if he just wouldn't throw away Panthers, he probably could at least be standing a lot better, maybe even winning at this point. But the way he's handling those Panthers is quite mind-boggling, really. He's just not at all playing to the strengths of the Panther here. Need to shoot the Volkswagen gun. It is again. Alcoholic, unit preservation, unit preservation! Need to get the Puma up there to support the Panther. That way the Puma will help spot for the Panther, allowing the Panther to make better use of its full range. Which is generally, I think, a good idea there to consider. Sniping away there with its 75mm gun. We got Guardsman flanking in there. Needs to get the looks to deal with that. Machine gun standing about there as well. Puma could also assist a bit. Buttoning up the looks there, making it a bit harder for it to shoot back. Move about. Field going to bring up the Panther, needs to pull back, and he needs to attack from another angle instead of just trying to take it through here in the center, where currently HighFive is plonking down most of his units and his defenses, meaning any direct armored push there is going to be punished very badly. Panther quickly taking a penetrating hit, needs to pull back for repairs. Good work there for Alcoholic. He's also got a lot of resources floating there. In fact, he's got a bit there for a airborne assault. In fact, you can combine an airborne assault with a Wagner assault, maybe try and catch some of the units around here off guard. Maybe somewhere else. Fighter's then engaged. Academy from the T-35 need to get Puma. Panther moving it, not fully repaired. Bit risky there, bit risky. In the east, engineers being pinned down there by the max. We've got an H-35 on the way there for HighFive. Tank destroyer. Almost got the fighter Megas there. Still no sign of the munitions being utilised. No Valiant assaults, no airborne assaults, no nothing there from Alcoholic in the center. Luke stealing there with the conscripts in the east. Mortar fire on the Veteran 3. Maxim actually needs to retreat that. Be a shame there for Alcoholic to lose that at this point. And again, careful with the Panther. Alcoholic, 4-6. And there you go, H-85 medium tanks are out there for HighFive. Technically it would have been faced out due to the T-35, but obviously the Russians tend to use everything until they had no more of it, so it probably would have seen some usage to the very end of the war. It just would have been produced. In some numbers, actually. I mean, they still produce some, in fact, due to having the SU-100 production delayed, and they actually use some of the chassis for the SU-100 for the SU-85s as well. Careful, careful, careful. Get away the Panther, get away the Panther, Alcoholic. Back! What are you doing, Alcoholic? Down to half health there. Not good, not good. Luke's rushing in there for some reason. Fighter MiGs advancing with little to no cover there. Need to be careful, need to be careful. And in these we've got the folks of the rest of the conscripts. Assault everything, gating the Russians up close. Nicely, I think, set up the incendiary grenade. Predicted very nicely, I think, there where HighFive was using his men. And there you go, Panther there again, rushing it forward. Rushing it forward, so trying to get out there in one piece because of too much damage. He's not going to lose it. Again. So right there, what Alcoholic needs to do first and foremost is, you know, understand what the strengths of the Panther are. Range and speed. It is not something you get up close to your opponent. In fact, if you get it up close to your opponent, you're doing your opponent a favour. You want to fight at max range whenever possible. Because in most cases, that is where the Panther will enjoy the maximum advantage. And currently, that has been anything but what Alcoholic's been doing. He's been getting it up in his opponent's nose every single time. That is not how you use the Panther very efficiently. So right there, Alcoholic has been mishandling his Panther, and that, I think, to a large extent has cost him the game. I mean, well, it's great he's been using Panthers. That's great. I mean, a lot of players just go straight for King Tigers, and he might actually lost that. I mean, it's great to see someone actually try to use the Panthers, but he needs to use them pets. I mean, he didn't even learn anything from these. Again, he just lost every single Panther the same way. Rushed it in, no support, got it killed. I mean, don't do that. Work it with the infantry. Work it as part of a larger combat group. Don't just send it in there blindly. And that pretty much cost him it every single time. So please, Alcoholic, if you're watching this, promise me you won't ever do that again, please. Because that is not good Panther handling. That is terrible. I mean, HighFive again, played very well again. Very good overall strategic. Fuel caches, very good. Pretty useful use of his armor, good use of mines, demo charges. Could have been a bit more active on the flanks. Occasionally do feel like HighFive is a bit awfully passive there as an Alcoholic, but overall he played more prudently, and you know, overall long term a lot better here than Alcoholic. So Alcoholic, I think, overall made some good moves from time to time. The problem was his unit preservation just can't keep up with, and he ends up losing so many units in very silly ways. I mean, he's a very aggressive player, which again can work out well, but the problem is occasionally it doesn't quite act like for someone who keeps harassing this point when it's not really connected to anything, for example. And when he then makes the big pushes, but then only uses like small parts of it, it's trying to just push in as many as it can, units, you know, from different angles. So there's a lot of, I think, room there for improvement for Alcoholic. Again, primarily just remember, Panthers, max range if possible. You're only going close if you have to pursue something and sort of reasonably clear you can actually get it wiped and not lose your tank in the process. You do not rush them in blindly into unknown hostile territory. That is a very good way to lose a Panther. So I mean, again, initially good play, but by Jove, he needs to work in his Panther play overall. He needs to work unit preservation. HighFive could be a bit more aggressive on the flanks, but otherwise, a well played there by HighFive. And again, good work with the fuel caches. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it, in particular for you, Alcoholic, if you're watching. If you did, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. Also, big thanks to Kamenov and to Kevin for supporting the Propagandacast on Patreon. Many thanks there. Hadn't forgotten you. I just kept forgetting to mention it. So it wasn't forgotten you, just forgetting to mention it, which is a bit the same. But again, thank you very much for supporting the Propagandacast and helping out there with Warford. For the rest of you, do consider donating. Links are in the video description. It very much helps me pay rent, food, and so on there. So do consider, as it would help me out a lot there in the longer term. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. This is Imperial Dane signing off. Cheers.